Hey y'all, it's Brooke. I just kind of felt led to share some things with you guys, just a couple testimonies. The God's just I was thinking about some of the things God's done for me, and I just kind of wanted to share. So, many years ago, God always found a way. He never let me go. I was raised in church. I grew up in church. I had a really great foundation. I fell off for years, 7 years. I mean, I never prayed. I didn't even pray for my food. I just never thought about God. But God He never let me go. I have probably had, I don't know, in a year, I would have 8 to 10 people witness to me. Even Jehovah's Witness, or somebody would leave a pamphlet on my car, or people would come to my door, and try to talk to me about Jesus, and more than I think the average person. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope this does happen to other people, because I know that it's God. I know that He was always trying to show Himself to me, I love you, I'm here for you, you're mine. I'm so thankful for that. I remember, many years ago, I wrecked my vehicle, and I went to this gas station the day afterwards, and I was devastated because I knew that I was going down a bad path, and but I was just at a gas station. I went to the restroom, and on the toilet paper holder, there's a pamphlet that's no matter how far you go, you can never outrun my love. And it's just another reminder, God knows, He knows what I'm doing, and that He's never giving up on me. It's just, this has happened to me hundreds of times in my life, and I'm so thankful for all those moments, because I look back at it now and it's God's real and He loves you. I gave myself to Him at a young age, and I backslid and I fell away, but He never gave up on me. He always was there for me. And 2 other little things I was thinking about, my husband and I were having a lot of issues. I lost my job. This was years ago. And I didn't have a job for almost a year. And I was drinking a lot. I mean, I was depressed and was in such a dark space in my life. And I decided that I wanted to know God. I got into chakras and kundalini and meditating and yoga. I was trying to find the Lord, but I didn't know what I was doing. I was just trying to find me and find God. And I was going through all these motions. 3 months I was doing these things, and one day my husband and I got in a fight, and I went downstairs to grab a bottle of liquor, and something in my head was this ain't working. So I decided to get a Bible. I put it back on the shelf, and I went and grabbed my Bible, and I flipped the pages to, I believe it was Numbers or Lamentations. I need to look it up. I should have been prepared for this, but I just felt led to share. And it was talking about the Nazarite vow: no wine, no strong drink. You can't cut your hair. You don't go around dead bodies. And I was mad. I was like, no, Lord, this ain't about me. Show me about my husband. And I don't know, after about 15 minutes of pouting, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this Nazarite vow. I'm not going to drink anything, any alcohol, no strong drink. I'm not going to cut my hair. I took it literal. But this was just how God communicated with me. So the very next Sunday, I decided to go to church after not going to church years. Okay. And while I was at church, I saw this vision of a white lamb, and I heard spring water, in my spirit. This was new to me too. I wrote it down. I decided to go, I Googled, natural spring, and there was one right down the street. So I went to Walmart or somewhere, and I bought this 5-gallon container of, and I went to the spring, and I sat on this rock, and I'm like, Lord, I filled it up. I'm like, Lord, I don't know why I'm here, but I know this is what you want me to do. Thank you for bringing me here today. I'm going to use this water in place of alcohol. I'm going to drink nothing but the spring water. And y'all, I felt the Lord hold me. Everything was so bright. I was outside at a spring. I couldn't see anything. Everything was so bright. And I felt the Lord hold me. And from that moment, I knew God was real. And I knew that He was for me. And, I did. I followed the Nazarite vow, and I did what I was supposed to do, and I grew closer to the Lord. And the Lord, I was still trying to do like the new age stuff, like meditation and yoga and chakras and kundalini, and actually met this guy on Facebook. He was from India, and he was going to help me like open up one of my chakras, right? So we were going to meditate together. He's in India and I'm in the United States, and I felt a serpent inside my body, and immediately God was like, this ain't from me, and I had to repent of that. I mean, I'm so thankful. God showed me that this is not from him, y'all. He helped deliver me out of that situation. I was getting myself, I didn't mess with it from that moment on. I'm thankful that I went through that experience, because I did start to learn how to like become peace with myself, but it's not about me. It's about my relationship with the Lord. But from that moment on, God showed me that kundalini and chakras and all that is not from the Lord. Like, he created us. He is the one. He is the holder of us. He's the one who helps us, learn ourselves when we learn to love him. But that's just one thing I wanted to tell you guys. And then not having a job, right? I didn't have a job. I was still trying to get to know the Lord, and he was teaching me how to like love myself during this time, and to love my children and my husband. And we were struggling financially, right? We were really struggling, and we didn't really have a lot of money, and my husband and I were fighting a lot, the natural stressors of life. And I decided to go to church again and tithe. I hadn't tithed in a long time. I tithed $100. We couldn't really afford it. But I decided to tithe $100 immediately after church. My husband calls me, and he's like, what happened to that $100? And I'm like, baby, I tithed. And he was like so mad at me, and he was like, I'm tired of this. And he hung up on me. And I went to my grandma's house right afterwards, because she was babysitting my kids, and she gave me $150. I called my husband. I was like, baby, guess what? God provided. I gave him $100. He immediately gave me $150. And he was like, we would have had $250 if you wouldn't tithe. It's not his fault. He don't understand. I was so hurt, y'all. I was so hurt. My feelings were hurt, because I was trying to step out in faith, and I wanted to share that with my husband, and he just wasn't, taking it at that time. And I was just praying and asking Lord to help me not be mad at my husband, because he didn't understand. But I knew that God was showing me, he was training me, he was teaching me to trust in him and to have faith in him. Well, 2 days later, my husband texts me. I'm at home. I don't have a job. He texts me that he wanted to go get a gun that he wanted, right? Ooh, I was so upset. I was so angry. I put my phone down. I went straight to my closet, and I started praying like, Lord, I'm so mad. I just tithed to you $100, and my husband was yelling at me. Now he wants to go buy a gun, way more than $100. And I was just like pouting and, just crying out to God. And God said Ephesians. Yeah, I don't know my Bible. I don't know it like this, okay? I still don't know it like this, and this has been years ago. God said Ephesians. So I flipped over to Ephesians. And the first page I landed on, wives, submit to your husbands. I was like, no, God. I threw my Bible down. I threw my pencil down, my pen, whatever I had. And I started pouting. I was mad. I was like, God, that's dumb. I had talked to God like that, excuse me, but he knows me. I was like, that's crazy. No, I'm not going to submit to my husband. That's wild. And then, after 20 minutes of pouting, yelling at the Lord and having my conversations with him, he gave me a peace, and I was like, okay. So I text my husband. Okay. That's all I said. He comes home late. He has this gun. He wants me to hold it. I just want to shoot him with it, okay? But I say, I'm so glad that you're happy. That was the Lord, because I really wanted to freak out. And I went to bed. The very next day, y'all, I get a phone call about a job. This was a job that I wanted so bad. I wanted to work in dermatology. I wanted to work in skin. And this was many years ago, like 5 years ago. And God gave me a job the very next day. I tithed. I was obedient. I listened to my Father. And after almost a year of not having, or almost a year, wasn't a full year, of not having a job, my Father provided for me. And he planned it all out. And it's just so cool how it works. He does for all kinds, everybody. You just got to listen. Another testimony I had, this was a couple years afterwards. My husband and I were having issues again. I was really growing close to the Lord, and I was scaring him. I wasn't the same person that he knew. And we went to Subway. We separated, actually, and we met up at Subway like 2 weeks later, and there was a lady there. And again, I just separated from my husband. It's been 2 weeks. There was a lady there, and I felt like God wanted me to pray for her. So I told my husband, I was like, because he's like, he could tell something's wrong with me. And I said, God wants me to pray for that lady. He's like, pray for her. And in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, God, he's going to think I'm crazy. And he wanted me to put my hands on this woman and pray. Y'all, I never did this before, okay? I did it. I put my hands on this lady. I prayed for her. And she said, I can't go home. There's so many drugs. I can't go home. There's so many drugs. And guess what? The cashier was standing right there with me when I was praying. She came over there. She said, let me make a phone call. My sister works at the safe house. Y'all, my husband went and witnessed all of this, and he saved that lady's life last night. He used me. He used that cashier, and my husband got to witness it. God is so good.